Chelsea Rittenauer here, your host for Music Talks, exclusively on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. I am here with the high-energy blues and boogie band Curtis and the Shakerz. Hey, guys.
Hey, how are you?
I'm really excited to talk to you guys. I got to hear a bit of sound check. You sound fantastic. I know we have a lot to talk about, so let's jump into it. As everyone knows who watches the show, I like to find out who you all are individually, so tell me your name, what you play in the band, and how you got started.
Well, my name's Philip Vento. I'm from Monroeville, Pennsylvania. I play the bass guitar, and I started out as a wannabe lead player. It just wasn't working. And so I'd go to music stores, oh, there's a bass guitar, let me try that, and I start playing it. It sounds like a lead guy over there. You know? But I discovered I had a nice natural aptitude for rhythm, and it just took from there. And so I'm pretty much self-taught and just messing around with friends. And fortunately, I ran into a lot of excellent musicians who were willing to just teach and not, be hiding what they did. Yeah. And they liked my attitude, they liked that I was willing to learn, and they took me on. And that's how I learned a lot of what I do. And I learned from piano players too, a lot of good piano players. So I started at age 19 playing bass, and I've been playing them for 40 years now. And so I just always had an aptitude for music, and just kind of stumbled on a lot of it accidentally, to be honest, and then just ran with it. I spent a lot of time early on in my bass playing in the church, playing contemporary church music with a lot of great musicians. Married, getting family, raising kids, so it fit real well. But I always in the back of my mind wanted to have a local music venture as well. So at this part of my life, it kind of started to come to fruition. My cousin John Vento is a local artist as well, and so that kind of helped me get in to the situation. And then I met up with Bob Featherland, and he introduced me to the band. Had some auditions. I'm the newest member. Okay. And so we chewed on it for a while, and it just seemed to click. And these guys are excellent people, let alone musicians. And I said yes, and here we are now. That was back in February, before all the COVID stuff.
Oh, wow. So It's been less than a year that you've been with this group. Okay, very cool. Fantastic. So. All righty. Take it away.
Hey, Phil stole all my lines.
I did.
What am I going to do?
What are we
I don't know
doing?
what to say.
Oh.
Anyway, my name's John Vogley. I'm a Pittsburgh native all my life, and I play saxes and flute. I'm playing approximately 57 years now, and my training has nothing to do with formal training. I worked next to a saxophone player in the shop that I worked, and one day I just asked him to teach me to play the saxophone.
And it just went from there.
To do so. And after he gave me about a year's lessons, he got me a job in his father's band. So that was at Westview Park. That was my first professional job that I actually got paid. Okay. And I'm a jazz lover. And I guess my claim to fame is doing some backup work with a gentleman by the name of Lenny Walsh, and also the Drifters. Before I got to, after all these years, join this fabulous band of Curtis and the Shakerz here. They brought me in and auditioned me, and I somehow passed the audition, and here I am today. And that's about it. That's all I have. That's all I have.
I love it. That's a great story. It's fantastic.
I just love to play.
Yeah.
And, they give me a lot of opportunities to play a lot of solos and do a lot of work, and that's.
I mean, you kind of have to when you have a sax player, right? I mean, you got to show them off.
Sure.
Yeah.
The sax player,
the ladies love the sax
here.
player.
This right here. I have a special girl in the back there, so right now that's the girl that I got right now.
And she won't let him come to a gig by himself.
Right. That's why she's here with me.
You gotta watch
She's
him.
got to keep her eye on him.
I don't blame her.
Yes, absolutely.
You got to watch out for those sax players.
And I never asked you your name.
Oh, I'm Chelsea.
Pleasure
Yes,
to meet you.
Chelsea Rittenauer. So
Pleasure to meet you,
lovely
Chelsea.
to meet
Thank
you.
you.
Yes, absolutely.
Go ahead, Kev.
I'm Kevin McCarthy. I play guitar. I've been with Curtis a year this month. I came in November. I've been playing for 52 years. Yeah, I started when I was 12 years old.
Nice.
You know, back in the late '60s. You know, the Beatles era, and everybody wanted to play guitar.
Yeah.
You know? So,
I think everybody
so
still does.
I badgered my parents for a year, and they finally gave in, and they got me a guitar. Started taking lessons. I'm originally from Washington County, and started taking lessons out there from, believe it or not, a drummer
Oh.
that taught out of a book.
Uh-huh.
But he was a very good drummer. He was actually the drummer on the Jackie Gleason show in Florida in the '60s.
Very cool.
And he taught me for a while, got me started, and then I studied with a really good player from Washington named Tony Janflon. Tony Sr. You know, his son now, Tony Jr. works a lot and is fairly well known in this area. But I studied with his dad through high school and in college, and picked up a lot. And it's funny because, you know, we're playing in a blues band now, and I was never really a blues player. I come from more of a jazz and R&B background.
Okay.
You know, I played R&B and funk for 20 years.
Very
You know,
cool.
25 years, but then you know, there's a lot of similarities, you know, in there, and being able to come in and be a convincing blues player, you know. And you know, like John and Phil have said, I listen to a lot of different things. Not a whole lot of guitar players, but when I do listen to a guitar player, I really like Lee Ritenour and Larry Carlton, jazz players. And the musician that I prefer to listen to anytime is Miles Davis.
All right.
So that's where that's when I really want to really concentrate and listen to some music, I'll put on some Miles.
I like it.
So
Awesome. Thank you very much.
thanks.
Who's next?
I'm Bob Fetherman, the drummer.
Mr. Solid.
Well, that's a compliment. Thank you. It's nice to hear. Never been called that before. But I was born and raised in Forest Hills. Been playing for 53 years now, going on 54. So I think we have a number of years behind us, guys. I took lessons off Babe Fabrizi, who was a very well-renowned. He had a drum shop in Wilkinsburg, and a lot of people know who Babe was. But he was a great,
Remember that, yeah.
great musician. Had me teaching there at age 13. I started at age 11. He had me actually teaching some lessons, so obviously I picked it up pretty quick. And my parents told me I used to sit and rock a lot, and you know, the pots and pans and all that stuff. So they said, you know, thank goodness I had the parents I had, because they let me play the drums, right?
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
They knew.
I have a 6-year-old brother and a 10-year-old sister, but my brother was a big influence. My sister left when I was pretty young. She went in the airlines, but my brother played all these records that he would pick up because he was 6 years older than me. So, you know, in his early 70s, late 60s, I'm only 8, 9, 10 years old. I'm listening to like Abbey Road,
Yeah.
and you know, Jefferson Airplane. You know, they're called Jefferson Starship now,
Right.
right? Led Zeppelin, you know, who's a Cream, you know, all these great bands. Blind Faith, one of my favorite bands. Big influences. Ginger Baker on me. Love his drumming. He was the first to take jazz drumming and turn it into rock and do an extended drum solo on the drums. He was the first one to do that in rock music, which was pretty fascinating. And then I started playing at school. Went all the way through school playing. College, you know, played in the jazz bands and everything. I've always liked jazz. My roots are jazz rock fusion, like the heavier stuff, like Chick Corea, Weather Report, you know, bands like that. I'm a big fan of Yes, Genesis, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, all those old classic rock groups. So big influences from the drummers there, like Bill Bruford and, you know, John Bonham, you know, Steve Gadd, who's a famous sessions player, and he plays with Eric Clapton now. But so locally, I started playing with. I got out of college in 1978, and I moved to Shadyside, and that was a really happening part of town. And there was this Encore bar down there where they had Eric Kloss, who was a blind guy, played sax. Remember him, John?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'd go down there and sit in and play drums. And Spider Rondinelli was a drummer down there. He was a famous Pittsburgh guy.
Yeah.
Sat in this little doorway. Somehow he's fit in the doorway and played drums, and I'm like, my elbows are hitting everything. How do I do this?
Always wore a pith helmet.
Yeah, really. So I kind of cut my teeth, in the city doing that stuff. It was like the Haight-Ashbury in Pittsburgh, Shadyside was back in the early '70s. So
I didn't realize you were that old.
oh, yeah,
Jeez.
I'm not as old as you yet. I'm working on it.
You wear it now, Bob. You certainly don't look it.
But anyway, so and it's funny because I met a guy named Mike Sweeney who's written a lot of songs here and done a lot of music with local artists in Pittsburgh, and he's a bass player, and he got me into the blues and shuffling and Stevie Ray Vaughan and stuff like that. And he said, "Hit the snare drum, like hit it." So now I have a reputation, right? I play too loud. No, but it's fun, and I've played with a lot of groups in and around Pittsburgh. 8th Street Rocks, I was with them for about 8 years. John Vento's band that Phil mentioned, called the Needs Hotel Band. I was with them for about 5 years. Did a bunch of recordings with them and stuff. I played with the Coasters once when they came through. A friend of mine named Dave Budway, who's a famous piano player, called me up and said they need a drummer for a show, and I can read, so which is nice. So I was able to go out and do that. I've cut my teeth on a lot of different styles of music. I used to play bebop and jazz, and then I went into more of the rock stuff, and now I'm with Curtis and the Shakerz. And I got a call from the former bass player, who's a really nice guy, Jerry Thompson, great guy, great bass player. He called me up and said, we're looking for a drummer. I told him I was looking, and I met Curtis, and the next day, didn't even practice with him. He had me doing a show at Moondogs because the previous drummer couldn't do it, and so I'm sitting there playing, 15, 20 songs. We did about an hour set, and ran them down, and I guess they said I had no problems with them. It was pretty fun. So, with experience, it helps a lot, being able to sit down and play. But and that was the history of us. That's how we hooked up, and then we got Phil, and John was there when I got there, and then Kevin came in a year later, or a few weeks later. So this was last August when I started. So you got almost a whole new band, really. We've only been with you about 15, 16 months total.
Yep.
So that's because he's so hard to work with.
He's the slave driver that Curtis.
Well, let's talk about you, Curtis. So tell me
I'm
about
Curtis
yourself.
of Curtis and the Shakerz, and I
Yes.
formed the band.
Yes.
I used to, I was a guitar player when I first started out, but never really took lessons or anything. So through playing guitar and that, people were better than me, and they were like, "Well, you just sing," So
Okay.
I started to sing, and then as time went on, I would see front men and people like Hart and stuff like that, and I wanted to be a dynamic front man that also sang good and with the dynamics of a singer. And about a year ago, I was thinking to myself, well, I've played in all these bands with other people, and most of the time people are trying to get you to sing songs, and they don't even realize about the key and that what your voice range is.
Right.
And hey, let's do Journey.
And you're like,
let's do Triumph or whatever. And I'm a baritone singer, so I don't believe in the harmonic pedals and the pitch finders and all that. I just sing gut, you know what I mean? So I found these guys that were good. I wanted something like in the pocket.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be nice, rhythm section and everything. And the guitar player, which Kevin's one of the best guitar players in Pittsburgh. I truly believe that. I needed a guitar player that was a solo player that had edge, and he could play both rhythm, harmonics, lead, and everything. And he's the only one I really ever found that fits the bill. So I mean, he's a godsend
right.
to me.
And I saw you during the sound check. You were singing.
Yeah.
Plus, he's got a great voice.
And then with John, I've always wanted a sax player because I'm a big fan of Eddie and the Cruisers.
Okay.
Okay. I watched the movie 20 times, 30 times. And in my mind and in my vision, I wanted a band like that.
Okay.
Where the sax player was your right-hand man. The guitar player was on his own. He did his own thing. So you didn't have the rhythm and the guitars fighting back and forth. So everybody in their own individual place is the best at what they do.
Right.
So I take it from that, Eddie and the Cruisers, even though it's John, it's the Beaver Brown band actually that did all the recordings and everything. I just wanted to base it off having a sax player and just one of everything and making it the best it can be.
So this, let me just recap for a sec so I'm clear. This all came together for you about a year ago? So this band is really only a year old then.
Yes.
And so the intent for you, it was always to be a blues band.
Yeah, a blues band with energy.
Yes.
Like I see a lot of blues bands out there that are stagnant, that they play the blues but they just stand there.
Right.
It's like, I don't know, people always told me it's like watching wet paint dry.
Right.
You need to have some kind of, whether it be presence or a stage presence,
Absolutely. I mean,
to
that's
get the
any
people involved.
band, right? You know, I mean, if you don't have stage presence and you're not doing
Yeah.
things on stage and getting your audience engaged, then
Right.
you're basically just background noise and like, okay, great, I'm gonna go get another drink, whatever.
Yeah, and that's the key word is getting everybody, getting the audience engaged.
Right.
You know, in what you're doing. You know, you have to play for them, not at them.
Exactly. Yeah, I like that. Very
And we're able
nice.
to do it with stuff that we really enjoy
So
at the same time.
that leads me into my next question. But first, I do want to touch on the name. So, Curtis and the Shakerz. Why and the Shakerz? Did you have other
when
names?
I first started the band out, I was going to call it Curtis and the Cats or something like that. Curtis and the Alley Cats or something like that.
I don't know. That was before.
Before
was
these
before all
guys.
of us.
I mean, actually, I had the band. I went through a lot of players.
Okay.
And the main reason I went through a lot of players, a lot of egos, a lot of attitude.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't want to rehearse. A lot of people wanted to play, and that was their rehearsal. I wanted a band that rehearsed, that was tight, that was in sync, that had dynamics up and down all over. A lot of bands don't. They just go out and they wing it. So, I mean, I was really intent on finding guys that were into the project, that were polished,
Yes.
and they only wanted to play in this band. So we could go original, album.
So that was my next question.
Yeah.
Was the intent always for you to write your own original music, or did you think, okay, we'll start out with covers? I mean, do you guys do a mix of both? Do you play covers and original? Like, what was the thought process behind it?
Well, we played covers. We wanted to play stuff that a lot of people didn't, like Tommy Castro and Kingfish Ingram and people like that, where the guitars and all that are real precise, and it's really, you know, like for instance Gary Moore, who plays and sings and stuff, but it just seemed like that was the route to go with all that stuff.
And and we do play covers.
Sure.
But we don't try to cover them.
You do it in your way.
Yeah.
One way, right.
We do our own things. We'll change
Yes.
arrangements sometimes, or just put our own,
You put your Curtis and the Shaker spin on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the process of
I
writing
respect
in
that.
that is that I just go, I mean, in the world right now, there's a lot of backing tracks
Yes.
of blues, of swing, of everything. So I go in on YouTube and I just listen to these different types of songs and the way they're played and everything. And I get an idea of a melody, and I put the melody together in the lyric, and then I say, here, Kevin, you write the song. You put the bridges where they go. You write the way you want to play the song, not copying them,
Right.
but
Rearranging
inventing those
Right.
songs.
Curtis would say, here's the basic kind of feel of it, and then we try to just create from there, and it's kind of interesting. We got to give a shout out to Rob Friel
Yeah.
from WYEP,
Okay.
because he's really the one that pushed us in the studio.
Okay.
He does on Saturday evenings. His show is called Rollin' and Tumblin'. And he reached out to us and said, I would like you guys to do a cover of Rollin' and Tumblin', because he's invited a lot of the Pittsburgh bands in to do that song, and he plays them on the air.
Yeah, we were quote number 420.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Thank you. 420th
So we,
version.
did that, and we were also we were also signed up to compete in the Blues Society Blues Challenge, which would have been in February.
Yeah.
This past February, and you know, we had our show lined up, and they said, well, we'd like to hear a couple of originals as part of your show. And Curtis and I looked at each other and went, oh crap.
So that's what pushed you to write originals.
Yes.
Okay, so that was your moment, and you were like,
exactly.
all right,
So we said, we better get busy.
So you have to start writing now.
Yeah,
And I mean,
so
we've already wrote 4 or 5 songs in a matter of a year.
Yeah.
Right.
But the first one, and we're gonna play it later tonight, was "Blues Down in My Soul." And you know, Curtis had just a basic verse together, and then we said, okay, well, let's do this and let's do that, and let's kind of swing around there. And then the next one was
The Crooner.
The Crooner, and you know, because we needed 2 and we only had 1. So I had been playing around with some chord changes and some melodies, but I didn't have any words.
And that's where
So
you
I
came
said,
in.
What can you do?
So
with
you're the
this?
lyric guy. You're the lyric guy. Yeah.
And that's how it came about.
Yeah.
And those were the. So we went to the studio. We went into Dave Granati's studio in Ambridge. Of the Granati brothers. We got to give a shout out to him too.
It's called Maplewood Studios in Ambridge.
And he is one of the best people to work with. He makes it so comfortable, and it's just a pleasant experience. But we went in and we recorded Rollin' and Tumblin', and then we did Blues Down in My Soul, and we did The Crooner.
And then it just went from there.
Yeah.
And then 6 months after that, we went in and did 2 more, which we did. We have one that's dedicated to first responders called "Standing on the Blue Line." It's about standing up for the police with the defunding and everything going on.
Yep.
So
Just support them.
we wanted to write a song about supporting first responders and police.
Yeah.
And that was Standing on the Blue Line.
And then I was thinking about a song, you know, aboard a train going somewhere, you know. So we wrote this song called "Boogie Train," which we're headed on down to New Orleans, down to Bourbon Street on our boogie train.
Yeah.
We don't want to always be so serious.
And
We do have a sense
I
of
got to
humor.
give a shout out to Curtis on Boogie Train. He did a really creative job with the words.
Yeah, it's
You
a
know,
fun
on that
song.
song because it really, you follow along and it really tells a story and it really draws you into it and it engages people.
And we'll be hearing that tonight.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
He
So
allows everybody to put their own soul and
Yeah, we all
right,
collaborate.
yeah, you all,
know,
and then you
their
put your own.
creativity into the
Yeah.
music.
Like I actually come up with the ending, the beginning and the ending riff on the Standing on the
that
Blue
was
Line
you.
song.
That was all you.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
write any
I
charts
gave
or
it to
anything.
Kevin.
We just
Right.
let everybody
Really
do
cool
their
with
own
it, so,
thing.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how the chemistry comes together. It's just so wild, you know.
Yeah.
And we
When it
always make
works,
sure
it
that we have
works.
a little recorder running when we're working through the songs because
Yeah.
so that because we're older.
No,
So
I
just
no,
to
no, 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 no.
remember what we did
I
from
do it
week to
too.
week.
I do it too because you don't want to miss anything.
Yeah.
Well, especially if
Yeah.
you've been drinking a little
Hard to
too much too.
replicate.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but you know, like you have to because
Yeah.
you'll forget things and you go back and listen to it the next day and you're like, oh, that was it. Like we have to keep that. I do the
Well,
same thing.
sometimes we forget from the beginning of the song till the end.
Yeah.
That's why we look at each other a lot.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So you guys really are basically a fine-tuned machine,
Yeah.
and you feed off of each other. But you also get to be individuals, which is really wonderful. It's not a one-man show.
No, it's a great experience.
No.
Yeah.
It really is a collaborative effort, and there's a lot of chemistry here in this band because we all get along. And nobody really has any ego problems or any substance problems or anything like that. It's just we're all for the most part pretty normal. You know?
Normal
and
musicians?
We get along,
I don't know if that's good
we
or
get
bad.
along really well.
That's an oxymoron, right?
Okay, right? That doesn't happen.
And I
Normal
guess when you
enough.
think about it, our vision from here on is a lot of the East Coast places and a lot of the people in, towards the beach and all that, you have to play original music.
Yeah.
So the reason is mainly is because there's a place down in Ocean City on the boardwalk by the big Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
It's called Timbers.
Okay, yeah.
Well, they started having live bands every year, and I think Derek Woods went down and he played there. But you have to have 2 hours of original music because of the
It's a lot.
ASCAP and the BMI.
All the
and all that.
licensing fees, yeah.
They
Yeah.
have to
So
pay for.
I wanted to try and get the band to the East Coast, maybe
Right.
go down because we're all retired except Phil
Well,
I'm semi-
and Kevin.
yeah.
But I wanted to get them down to the beach and start playing in some area beach places and that.
Yeah.
So the original music comes in the fold there because a lot of places won't let you play cover music.
Yeah.
They want you to play original.
They want original works.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
and,
really.
and we just hope and pray that we'll all be able to remember 2 hours of blues.
It's a lot of material. So, are you guys close to having 2 hours worth of material?
No, we're
No.
working towards it.
Yeah.
Working towards it.
Working towards it.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
like
Till
Curtis
next
said.
summer.
Like
All right.
Curtis said, in about 6 more months, we're going to go back into the Maplewood
studio.
Studios to do some more material.
Well, let's talk about that. So obviously everyone knows the mess of COVID, but you guys have been very active. It hasn't stopped you guys. You've been playing.
No, it hasn't. Curtis is a beast with the marketing, man.
Yeah.
He just,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
actually a commercial artist, and I dealt with advertising, and I worked for the Penny Saver for 15 years as a department manager. So I have all that advertising and experience in social media, flyers, and
Yeah.
I don't
And
know if
graphic
you've seen
design,
any of the
drive,
graphics,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
we do a lot of intense graphics on social media.
Yeah.
And that really gets us going. Our persona is the cats,
Yes.
the tiger.
Yes, I
See it
saw
in
on the
Curtis
album
and the-
cover.
Yeah.
Yes, on the prowl. Yes, on the
Yes.
prowl.
Well, Curtis and the Shakers is C to that.
Yeah.
So that's the acronym.
Right.
And
so that
that's,
kind of came out.
Aha.
That's
so
where it
that's
comes
how
from.
that's how that came
Very
about.
clever.
Yeah.
I enjoy
That's
And
that.
our
it gives you
secret.
that in your face, roaring
Yes.
energy,
Yeah.
that a tiger brings you,
So as far as your social media presence, you said you guys, you're online, you put everything out there. Where can people go to find your music right now?
Well, you can go to Spotify, iTunes, you can go to YouTube, iHeart.
Radio, yeah.
You can go on the Westmoreland playlist for Spotify with Derek Woods and all those people from out this way. We started our own little playlist called Local Pennsylvania Blues.
Yeah, you sent me that. I saw
So
that.
I have
Yes.
people like Dan Boobian and Freddie Stover and
Yeah.
Bobby Thompson and the
Yeah.
Groove,
Yeah.
which are some of the best blues players around.
Yeah.
And
So we're
and
just
nice-
trying to
nice
market
people.
the band
Nice
through
people too, yeah.
social
Social
media,
media.
for the same reason that you're saying of COVID.
Right.
Right.
You have
And
to.
We wanted to get we didn't want to stay stagnant
No.
Right.
for those 3 or 4 months and then try to come out and start all over.
Right.
Right. I mean,
And
hell,
so
we're
people
going
can-
on a year.
People can
Yeah.
find
you
us
know?
on
Yeah.
Facebook too. Curtis and the Shakers.
Right.
Yeah.
And Shakerz has a Z at the end
Has
of
a
it,
Z.
correct?
Yeah.
So
Z,
Curtis, as you would assume it's spelled, and then Shakerz has a Z at the end. So for any of the social media platforms that you go to check them out, remember that Z at the end of Shakerz.
The
So
events page on there has all of our
Right.
shows.
Yeah.
So-
Shows, events, video.
What do we have next coming up?
Just working on some new stuff and trying to get through the winter. I mean,
Amen.
now that things are starting to pick up again,
Yeah.
who knows as far as the COVID and all that.
Right.
Right. And
Who
we do have,
knows,
yeah,
Who
we do
knows?
have some shows.
But we're
coming
booked
up
all the way to
very soon.
January.
Wow.
So,
That's
and you
fantastic.
can see the events on our Curtis and the Shakerz page. I think right now we have 580 members. So we're
Fantastic.
picking it up after a year.
That's really fantastic after a year. I mean, the fact that you guys have an album out already, you've worked
Yes.
throughout this entire pandemic. You're going to be back in the studio early next year, late next year. What are you
Yeah,
guys
I think
thinking?
early next year.
Yeah,
next
probably
year.
around April, which is when we went.
So
originally to do the
maybe
first
by the
track.
end of next year, we can expect a whole new album from
Yeah.
you guys. I mean,
That's
you're
the plan.
busy. You're putting in the
A
work.
full album.
Yeah.
The one we have now is we call it an EP.
Yeah, it's-
5
yeah.
songs,
Five
it's an
tracks.
abbreviation,
Yes.
introduction to
Yeah.
who we are. But yeah, by that time.
And then one other thing I wanted to tell you was that there's a thing called the Blues Society of Western Pennsylvania.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And we're in the newsletter next month in December.
Oh.
They reviewed our album. and it's going to be in the Blue Society newsletter next month.
Well,
Yeah,
for
so-
everybody
and you can
watching, check
their,
that out.
Their Facebook page as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's available on the Facebook
Yeah.
page.
Yes.
Yes.
That's fantastic. Seriously, guys, congratulations. You're
We
doing
appreciate you for having us.
absolutely. I was really excited to talk to you guys, like, just because you're doing so much. You're, you're not letting all of this craziness get you down. So
No, just trying to stay, distant, but yet
relevant.
Yeah,
Well,
keep
and
it going.
Yeah.
And we've been fortunate in that we play the same places a number of times in rotation, and we've really been when working with the owners of those places to help them out too, to keep them,
Yeah.
because they've been hard hit by the COVID thing.
Absolutely.
Their
We all need to
revenues are
work
down,
together.
Their
Yeah.
expenses continue, so we've been trying our best to work with them
Yeah.
too.
Giving back and supporting
Yeah.
local
Yeah,
music.
yes.
Yeah.
So that they can stay on their feet
Mhm.
and stay open, because if we don't help these guys keep their doors open, then we have no.
Then you have nowhere to go.
Right.
You don't have a home.
No venues.
So many venues have been shutting down, especially music venues around
Right.
here, and it's been awful because now, especially in this little pocket, we don't have anywhere to perform right now. It's horrible. So I'm really happy that you guys have been able to keep doing what you do.
No, we appreciate it.
Absolutely.
We've been blessed that way.
Yeah, we're grateful.
Yeah.
We're grateful. believe me.
Well, I know that I'm really excited to hear your set. I want to hear and see you guys do your thing. You've got a fantastic setup. We've got all the lights. We've got everything ready to go.
All right.
So, is there anything else that you would like to add before
No,
we
we just
go?
want to
take
say
a break?
thank you for having us. And
Yeah.
Really appreciate you doing
we
this.
hope everybody in Armstrong and that gets to hear Curtis and the Shakers. Give us a
Yes.
holler.
I have
Absolutely.
to do a shout out to all the significant others too, because they put
Yes.
up.
Oh,
Yes.
they put it
My wife is
Yes, they
special.
did.
Good addition to that.
Bless. Bless. Well, thank you so very much for coming on tonight. I love chatting with you guys. For everyone out there watching, stay tuned. We're going to be back with the good stuff, the music, just a short break.
At Armstrong, our employees take great pride in supporting the community. Here is a historic landmark that makes our hometown special. The Connellsville Canteen is southwestern PA's only World War II museum and home to Harry Clark's Indian Creek Valley Railroad display. Visitors can feel America's greatness through the history, stories, and memorabilia of Fayette County in the 1930s and 40s. Brought to you by the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Catch all your favorite local programming on Channel 100 or on YouTube.
You ever get a feeling when the band takes the stage? You start dancing to the tempo, giving time with your feet. I got the burning need to grow when the blues singer in me sings, yeah. You wanna get up and boogie, let your ambitions run wild. We gotta swing your hips, got the shaking tonight. I got the burning in the groove when the blues singer in me sings, yeah. You wanna get up and boogie, let your ambitions run wild. You gotta wake your hips, you're shaking and grooving tonight. I got the burning need to groove when the blues singer in me sings. Come on, Kevin, take it away. getting real hot in here tonight. I'm calling you up to the dance floor. You got the Shakerz tonight. I got the burning in the groove. When the blues singer in me sings, yeah. Thank you. We got another one coming up for you. This one's called Boogie Train. Once upon a time, I thought about a scene. We were all boogieing on a train to New Orleans. Bright real blue, red, black, and yellow. Red boogie train written across the panel. More than 1900 for precious steel and blues. Hold the real side, they buckle in, we're gonna do. Hear the band play and everybody begins to swing. We're going down, we're walking down on Bourbon Street. Yeah, it feels so right. Well, the blues get down and die. Oh, I can feel it in my bones. Let's party tonight. All aboard the boogie train. Ride the rails to boogie land. Hitting speeds 80 to 100. Oh Lord, the boogie train is coming. Yeah, it feels so right. Well, the blues get down tonight. I can feel it in my bones. Let's party tonight. Oh, aboard the boogie train. Ride the rails to music land. Hitting speeds 80 to 100. Oh Lord, the boogie train is coming. Boogie train is coming. Boogie train is coming. Boogie train is coming. Thank you so much. Yes. Play your song right now. This one's called Damn Your Eyes. I can do what I want, I'm in complete control. That's what I tell myself. I got a mind of my own, I'll be right alone. Don't need nobody else. I gave myself a good talking to. No more being a fool for you. And I didn't remember how you make me want to surrender. Damn, you're right for taking my breath away, for making me want to stay. Damn, you're right for getting my hopes up high, making me fall in love again. Damn, you're right. It's always the same. You say you'll never change, somehow you never do. I believe all your lies, I look in your eyes, you make it all seem true. Guess I see what I wanna see, or is it my own deceiving me? Because I know so well, I'm completely under your spell. Damn, you're right for taking my breath away, making me wanna stay. Damn, you're right for getting my hopes up
This is our song that's dedicated to the first responders everywhere, and it's on our CD. It's called Standing on the Blue Line.
There are many colors, discipline and oath. The finest of Americans promise to protect and serve. Wrong with you, yeah. Standing on the blue line. I often stop and think, having only lawlessness. The blue line does matter, saving our peace and grace. Wrong with you, yeah. Standing on the blue line. They put their lives on the line. Protecting is a sworn order. You keep your heads held up high. Put on the real hero. We have to show some respect. All of our first responders. I believe what it represents. Standing on the blue line with you. Way down in my soul. Got the blues down in my soul. Got the blues down in my soul. I got the blues down in my soul now, baby. Every time you walk away. Got the blues, I'm missing you. Blues, I'm missing you. Got the blues, I'm missing you. Got the blues, I'm missing you. I got the blues down in my soul now, baby. Every time you walk away. When I'm sitting here, I'm singing the blues. I close my eyes and dream. Every night is the same situation. My eyes were blind to see. Yeah, yeah. Mr. John Bowlby on the saxophone. Pulling at my heart. Blues are pulling at my heart. The blues are pulling at my arms. Pulling at my heart. The blues are pulling at my heart now, baby. Every time you walk away. And every day I got the blues down in my soul. Way down in my soul. I got the blues down in my soul. The blues down in my soul. I got the blues down in my soul now, baby. Every time you walk away. Yeah. We'd like to thank y'all for having us out here tonight. This is our last song. This one's called Them Changes. Hey, everybody, I'd like to introduce to you our band. Our lead guitar and vocals, Mr. Kevin McCarthy. Back on the drums, Mr. Bob Featherley. On the saxophone, Mr. John Bowlby. On the bass guitar, Mr. Bill Vento.
And on lead vocals, Mr. Curtis Franciscus. We're Curtis and the Shakerz.
Well, my mind keeps going through the changes. I think I'm going out of my mind. Every time you see me going somewhere, I could commit a big old crime. Yeah, my baby, she left me the other day, and we were having a lot of fun. Oh, my baby, she loved me so, and that's the reason why she had to run, yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, my mind is going through the changes. I think I'm going out of my mind. Every time you see me going somewhere, I could commit a big old crime. You have me running, you have me hiding. You have me running and hiding, yeah. You have me running, you have me hiding. You have me running and hiding, yeah. Come on, Johnny, lay a bit of that saxophone down on me, my man. Well, my mind is going through the changes. I think I'm going out of my mind. Every time you see me going somewhere, I could commit a big old crime. Yeah, my baby, she loved me the other day, and we were having a lot of fun. Oh, my baby, she loved me so, and that's the reason why she had to walk. Everybody take it good night.
Thank you.